Hi everyone, this is Ryan from rockthedivine.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to my video today. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a frog in my voice, just ignore that. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about a question I get asked, I got asked recently and I've gotten asked before, and it is, does spirit, aka angels, guides, and ascended masters, do they always answer questions correctly? Now, I know most people would think, well, I sure as hell hope they do, because why else would we be seeking their guidance if they're not giving us correct information? Well, I would say that generally, yes, they do answer questions correctly. I would say that the exceptions when they might not answer questions correctly is because they're looking out for you. So, if you're asking something about your future and you're not ready to receive the information because it would affect your path and how you would get to where you're trying to get to, or if you're not ready to hear something, if you need to progress further in your journey so things all make more sense, then spirit will actually fib a little or just be quiet. And that's what happens to me a lot of times with clients. We're trucking through the questions one after another, and I'm getting great information. And then there'll be a question where they'll be a little quiet on it. And I don't push. If I sense they're quiet, I know there's a very good reason. I know either my client is not ready to hear what the answer would be, or they need the client to figure certain things out for their own, because there will be certain lessons and skills that will be gained in the meantime. And if they just show you what's going on or tell you what's going on, they might not progress the way they need to progress or learn the lessons they need to learn. So, for example, if you're wondering, will I ever be a writer? And you will be a writer. So the answer is yes. If spirit thinks that you'll rest on your laurels and just sit back, relax, and not do anything, they might go ahead and just not give an answer, or they might be vague, or they might say, no, you're not going to be a writer. And it's because they need you to fight for it. They need you to work hard for it. They don't want you to sit back and just say, well, I don't have to do anything because it's going to happen. The situations are always a little different, and generally they will give correct information, but there are times I've seen where they didn't. It happened with me, and at the time I was very upset, but now I understand more clearly why. My stepmother, who I was very close to, was dying of cancer. And she was in and out of the hospital many times, near death many times. And somehow she would always make a recovery, which was amazing. Every time she was very ill and we thought that this was going to be the end, I would hop in my car and drive 9 hours to where she lived so I could be there for her last moments. And she would make a recovery, and it was amazing, and I'd go back home. The last time that I got a phone call from my family saying that she was dying, I almost didn't believe it, because I thought, we've been here in this situation so many times, she'll be fine, she'll recover. I got a hold of spirit and I asked them questions, and because my heart was so involved in it, I wasn't hearing very clearly. I wasn't trusting what I was hearing. So I used my pendulum that I use all the time and I trust very much. The information told me she was going to be fine. The pendulum said, you don't need to go to where she lived. You don't need to get in your car. Everything will be all right. And I trusted that that was correct. I didn't pack my bag. I didn't do anything. I thought it's going to be okay. The next day, I got a phone call that things were very bad. And this time I could hear it in their voice that hospice had come in, and she wouldn't last long. I got in my car and she passed away about an hour into my drive. I was so mad. I thought, why did Spirit lie to me? Why did they not tell me the truth? I could have been there. I could have been there for her last moments. And I was very frustrated. I was very jaded, and I didn't use my pendulum for quite a while. Later, I learned that the reason that they did not tell me the truth was because they were looking out for me. They needed things to go a certain way for everyone that was included, and certain events had to take place at a certain time in a certain direction that didn't include my involvement. And they needed me to stay back so these certain things could evolve for the people included, the people that were around her, so they could go a certain way. My involvement would have messed up the balance. So they were actually looking out for her, they were looking out for the family, and they were also looking out for me. So they actually did not tell me the truth so I would stay back. I now know this and I thank them. I know that they were looking out for me and everyone, and they always are. That's what I want you to know, because a lot of times when I tell people this, when I say sometimes spirit won't tell the truth, not very often, but there are times, they get very jaded and they're like, well, why are we going to ask them anything? Or every time I ask them, how will I know if they're telling me the truth? Well, I want you to let that go. I want you, instead of thinking, well, is this answer right or wrong? Is this right or wrong? I want to know, I don't know. Well, if they say yes, is it a no? Yada, yada. Let it go. Know that the universe has your back and everyone is looking out for you and loving you always. So instead of thinking, is the answer yes or no? Is it right or wrong? Think spirit is answering in the highest, best, most loving way. They are answering in the highest, best, most loving answer for all included. They have the best of intentions for all included. So know that. Not right or wrong, not yes or no. Spirit is answering the highest, best, most loving answer. And that's what you need to remember. Much love to you.